start from the
मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता। पंजाब सिंधु गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल गंगा। विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा। तब शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ आशीष मांगे। गाहे तब जय गाथा जन गण मंगल दायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता। जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे।
Thank you, Vayu. So, Vayu, now I request you to play the tribute video to Paul Harris, and also the tribute will be followed by 1 minute silence for world peace.
शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः। शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः। शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तु ते। दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तु ते। दीपज्योतिर्परब्रह्म दीपज्योतिर्जनार्दनः। दीपज्योतिर्परब्रह्म दीपज्योतिर्जनार्दनः। दीपो हरतु मे पापं सन्ध्यादीपनमोऽस्तु ते। ओ दीपब्रह्मरूपस्त्वं ज्योतिषां प्रभुरव्ययः। ओ दीपब्रह्मरूपस्त्वं ज्योतिषां प्रभुरव्ययः। आरोग्यं देहि पुत्रांश्च मतिं स्वच्छामि मे सदा। रवेरस्तं समारभ्य यावत् सूर्योदयो भवेत्। रवेरस्तं समारभ्य यावत् सूर्योदयो भवेत्। यस्य तिष्ठे गृहे दीपः तस्य नास्ति दरिद्रता। शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः। शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः। शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तु ते। दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तु ते। शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः। शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः।
So now let us observe 1 minute silence for world peace. Thank you. Please be seated.
I think district governor has joined, but he has to rename himself. I'm not sure. Soumya, can you check? He said he was trying to join.
Bhavi, can you please check?
Is Rotarian Pani in the room? If you are, can you please give us a reaction so that we know who you are?
And Bhavi, one participant pinged me, and she's saying that the audio is not like she's unable to hear anything.
Okay, is there anybody else having a problem? Because it could be that her volume is on 0 on her computer, so she can increase the volume or use headphones. That might be better, because I don't think anybody else is having an audio problem.
The audio seems to be coming quite clearly.
Yeah, so is Rotarian Pani in the room? You might want to unmute yourself and just let us know. Yes, I can see him.
Yeah.
Yes, welcome.
Good evening, sir. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Good evening, sir. Can you hear us?
Yes, we can hear you.
The audio is clear for you? No, I think for me it is not clear. I mean, I am not, it's not audible to me. Your voice is not audible to me.
Hello, hello, hello. Is it audible?
Oh, yeah, now
Hello.
it's better.
Okay.
Yeah, now it's better.
Okay, okay.
So we just started a few minutes back. We just finished with national anthem and tribute to Paul Harris, followed by 1 minute silence. So we just finished that as we are getting late. So we thought of starting it. So anyway, so I think we can proceed. We can proceed now. So first of all, we thank each one of you for joining today's webinar, which is jointly organized by Rotary Club Bhubaneswar Smile and Red Dot Foundation in partnership with the US Embassy, India, and US Consulate General, Hyderabad. It's a pleasure and privilege to welcome our chief guest, District Governor Rotarian Santanu Kumar Pani, guest of honor Elsa Mary, founder Red Dot Foundation and founder Rotary Peace Alumni Association. And also we have distinguished panelists as advocate Ines Napinai, Madam, founder Cyber Sathi, advocate Namrata Chadha, ma'am, former member State Commission for Women Odisha, and Deputy Superintendent of Police Madam Iman Kalyani. She is posted, presently she is posted to Crimes Against Women and Children Wing, CID Crime Branch, Bhubaneswar. We also welcome all the PDGs and distinguished guests, Rotarians, Rotaractors, Interactors, and all other ladies and gentlemen. So actually, our today's topic is online safety intervention to safeguard women and children. So which is a very urgent need of the times in which we all live in. So basically, nowadays, like all of us are, most of the people are getting addicted to using social media platform. To be specific, this young generation, so-called millennials, so they are spending more time on these platforms In fact, if we run a survey, we'll really come to know that these like they are ready to skip one day meal, but they are not ready to skip these social media platforms. So they are so addicted. So they have their own reasons to use these platforms, and we all know these platforms have their advantages as well as disadvantages. We know that there is no proper regulation, so none of us can really escape from the vulnerability of these platforms. So that is a fact. And during this pandemic, which has actually resulted in moving increasingly from the offline to online landscape for work, study, and many other stuffs which we are actually able to do because of this technology. So that is one we are actually able to accomplish many of our tasks because of the presence of these platforms. But at the same time, so online abuse and abusers are a real threat to anyone who is active on social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So our government is trying its best to lay out plans to protect users online, but still a long way to go. In this scenario, we are here today to learn from our experts, like how to tackle and combat offenders on social media. So I would not take much time. So with this, I once again welcome each one of you and hand over the discussion to Elsa, who will moderate the rest of the discussion. So over to you, Elsa.
Thank you, Soumya, and welcome everyone. Good evening. I'm currently in Singapore, but I'm usually based out of Mumbai, India. And I'm a Rotary Peace Fellow. I went to Chulalongkorn University in Bangkok in 2016. So thank you to Rotary for that opportunity. A little bit about myself. I spent 20 years in the aviation industry, first with Jet Airways and then with Kingfisher Airlines. And then in December 2012, as an immediate response to the horrific gang rape of Nirbhaya, Jyoti Singh, on a bus in Delhi, we launched Safe City, a crowd map, a platform, a tech platform that crowdsources stories anonymously of sexual and gender-based violence. And shortly after that, I had this opportunity to go for the Rotary Peace Fellowship program. And my thesis was really about, looking at our work on addressing sexual and gender-based violence from a peace lens. And I do want to say that it is a daily conflict for many of us. The statistics globally are 1 in 3 women around the world experience some form of sexual assault at least once in their lifetime. In many countries, probably like ours, it's much, much higher. And yet we don't talk about it because one, we have poor understanding of the various forms of sexual and gender-based violence. We have a highly patriarchal culture, which is steeped in all our lives, male and female. And also, okay, may I request everyone to mute?
So your voice is echoing.
Yes, that's because somebody was unmuted. So, so like I was saying, that there's a very poor understanding of the various forms of sexual harassment. It's not only in the physical world, but also now in the virtual world. But that's because of the patriarchal mindset that and the socio-cultural biases that govern our lives and dictate our behavior, dictate how we think about and give us a worldview. And then we are not very familiar with the legislation that guarantees our rights and protects us. And therefore, we have been doing a lot of education programs around this. India, fortunately, has many laws that protect our rights, but it's the implementation, the understanding of the law that is an issue. And so we are very pleased to be able to do this program. This is part of a series that we are doing with the US Consulate General of Hyderabad, as well as the US Embassy Delhi. This is on cyber safety and digital rights, and today's session will focus on how do you make it safe online for women and children? So I would like to invite Salil Kader from the Hyderabad Consulate. He's the advisor, cultural affairs at the US Consulate General, Hyderabad, and he's been leading this program for us. So over to you, Salil, to share a few words on the importance of this topic and your reasoning, why you launched a call for organizations to do this program, and what do you expect from us and from the larger audience.
Thank you so much, Elsa. Good evening to one and all. My name is Salil Kader. As Elsa mentioned, I'm the advisor for cultural affairs at the public affairs section here at the US Consulate in Hyderabad. Um, the consulate in Hyderabad is responsible for programming and public outreach in the states of Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, and Odisha. We have been visiting Odisha for about 10 years, more than 10 years now. And I call myself a pseudo Odia also because of the number of friends that I have there. Beautiful places, great food, and lovely people. I've really enjoyed coming back to Odisha every year. I get a chance to travel about twice or thrice every year. So really glad that this segment of the program has Odisha, and this virtual program has Odisha and participants from Odisha. So the US mission in India has always been working on the issues of human rights. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights says that human beings are born free, equal in dignity and rights. But yet we have seen that the rights of women and girls, people with disabilities, sexual minorities, religious minorities, and members of various other minority groups are often violated and abused. And the US mission in India has been committed to advancing gender equality, uplifting the rights of women and girls. And several of our programs have actually focused on a policy to end violence and discriminations of all kinds, including on the basis of sexual orientation or gender identity or expression, you name it. So all sorts of inequality is something that our programming has focused on. For several years, the US Consulate in Hyderabad has been working with partners in the states of Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, and Odisha on countering the impact of human trafficking. So this has been one of our biggest programs, theme that we've been working on, and largely focused on trafficking of women and children. We have run several effective campaigns on ground that has helped create awareness about the methods that traffickers use to entrap young girls and women. As Mr. Somajit pointed out, the pandemic years have only exacerbated this problem. We've seen that it's been difficult for all of us. We are having this conversation as an effect of the pandemic instead of doing this in person. But the impact has been felt to a very large extent on women and children. They've been hardest hit, I feel. A lot of young girls and women have shifted online for work or for education, and that has increasingly exposed them to the risks that cyberspace or the cybersphere presents, and they've become vulnerable to criminal exploitation online. We've seen lots of reports in the recent past where we have seen that there's been a surge in child sexual exploitation material online, and this has been one of the effects of a lot of people moving online. There has been an increased demand on these things. So now with the access to internet that children have, it was felt that we needed to do more in the online sphere, and that is why we designed this particular request for proposals. This project was designed, and we are very, very happy to have Red Dot Foundation Global, ELSA, leading this project with partners in the 3 states of Andhra, Telangana, and Odisha. And our embassy looking at the project said this is also an important issue for us. So in Delhi too, there are workshops that are being conducted, and we're looking forward to the 15 workshops in our 3 states. So we will be coming back to you, Rotary. Thank you so much for being part of this, the Rotary Club Bhubaneswar, and we really hope to use your services, your contacts, your partnership to implement several successful workshops, meaningful workshops that help create safety for young girls and women who are in the cyberspace. So I'd like to thank our panelists, Namrata ji, Napinay ji, Iman Kalyani ji, Shantanu ji, and of course, the moderator for this evening, my friend and partner, Elsa. Thank you so much for having us over, and we really look forward to being there in Odisha in person very soon. Thankfully, fingers crossed, things are improving, so we will be there and be in a position to work with you and have these programs. So thank you very much, and wish you the very best. Over to you, Elsa.
Thank you, Salil. And yes, we are excited to do these workshops and train these young girls. But feel free to get in touch with us for other, for parents, for teachers, because the more people that know about this, it's better, and we can connect online till we can do in-person workshops. So please feel free to get in touch with us. But now I want to introduce our panelists, because we have so much to discuss on this topic. So first we have Advocate Namrata Chadda. She is a renowned social activist and chairperson, Mahila Adhikar Abhiyan. She is President Madhyam and former member State Commission for Women. She has been working on issues related to women and children for the last 25 years. She writes regularly for newspapers and gives talk shows on TV channels on women empowerment. She is a guest faculty in different government institutions and academies, and she has authored 5 books published by Black Eagle Publications. At present, she is working for the rights of female prisoners in different jails of Odisha. So welcome, madam. And my first question to you is, does the internet provide for an equal opportunity to access for women, queer folk, and men?
Good evening, everybody. I'm very happy that Rotary Smile Club has given me this opportunity to interact with you all. Thank you, Alisa, to introducing me in this manner. Otherwise, as a women rights activist, people sometimes they say, oh, it is the Namrata Chadda, they don't like me. So it happens with us when we talk about women's rights and children's rights. And hi, Kadir. After a long time, I am seeing you and our all the member of Rotarians, all office bearer, and all the members who are watching me. The first thing, your question is very straight to me, and I think answer is very simple. But before that, I want to tell you one thing. When we are talking about this social media, access to social media, first we have to understand who has made this social media, and the power control is where. So this is the point we have to identify. This is totally depend on the power relationship, depend on the society. So whether you are from America or you are from European countries or Asian continent, the access to internet or the what I'm saying, controlling the internet or the social media, it is very, 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 very gender specific. It is controlled by the male gender. This is whether people like it or not, but it is mean for them. Once few decades ago, when it introduced, then people think, oh, it is a wonderful thing. It can change in our life. We can access to everything. It makes our life very easy. But we gradually we realize when we get the number of cases, the number of crime against women, I mean, increasing, then we realize, oh, it is the hidden agenda of a few, I'm saying the criminal people, not only criminal, even the people with the mask of a gentleman in our society, they get the wonderful opportunity, golden opportunity to interact, to target the other gender, weaker section, transgender. So it is the very easiest platform for them. So that's why it is when we are seeing the why people are behaving in a cute manner, or why they are behaving such as in the social media, why they are not properly utilizing it, why they are misutilizing it this way. You see, once long time back, when the internet was not there, social media was not there, the mindset of men that are controlling a women or controlling their rights or something, defaming them or naming them, it was their activities were very, very controlled, very, very controlled, because they don't have that much of access or that much of resources how to degrade other gender. So this is the finest and the very aristocratic tool in their hand, and they are maximum I am not saying utilizing it, misutilizing it. So whenever we see online what is happening, two things are happening. I think Iman will speak on that, because she is now, I'm very happy for her. She is our wonderful officer, and now she is in department who is dealing with the crime against women and children. So it is the men and the specifically juveniles who are using this tool against in a hidden, in the backdrop of the screen, they are using for their all purpose. One is a finance. Finance is not in our hand. It is with the banking sector. It is with the financial transaction that is always controlled by, again, male within the family. But the crime, the social status of a woman, or whatever she has, a dignity, I am talking about a dignity of a woman. This is the easiest platform for a specific one, special upper hand gender, that they are misutilizing it. So it is a very, very alarming, I am seeing situation, not only in India, it is all over the continent of Asia. And then Corona came, and when Corona came, so online classes, online studies, virtual meetings, that we have to adopt that mode of the communication, because we doesn't have any other choice. When we switch over to that, and officially we force our children, force our women folk and male folk, okay, you have to now use social media, or because in name of modernity or digitalization of our financial transaction or other shopping or other things, whatever the things we are saying, it is the easiest way. They get the golden opportunity. Okay, now we can do anything with that. So thanks to our film industry, so shyly, candidly, what they were showing on screen, whether it's a Hindi cinema or Telugu cinema or any vernacular language cinema, the way they were projecting women on cinema, now in the name of web series and other, they are now misutilizing this platform too. Whether it is a web series, you see, whether this is a social media, Instagram, or it is Facebook, you see, there is so much of social, what I'm saying, social media misogynies, and it is particularly against the women section. When the women are giving lecture, when the women are talking about any study, or when they are talking about a very serious matter or social work, there are many comments. If you see, you check their the comment box and list, there are fake identities, and they are giving a very bad derogatory remarks on their dressing style, their attires, their way of talking, and about their bodies. So sometimes it is the signal that you have to keep your mouth shut and go back to your home. Don't come to the social media. This is the one signal they want to do. The other thing is, if they want to lure more innocent girls, or the children, specifically children, luring with a fake identity, or some prize money, or some opportunities in careers, or in this area or that area. That is the softest, we are saying, the softest target for them, and it is a very easy way they can immediately attract them through the social media. And you say teenage children, they attract with new technology. And most of the parents, we are always talking about, we have to discuss with parents, and it is a very urban approach. I am telling you, with all the Rotarians members, sometimes whenever we are talking about, that we have to teach their parents, we have to reach out to them, we have to what we are saying, educate them about the social media activity. But I think this is because I'm working in a grassroots level. I'm working for the prisoners inside jail, how they are neglected, excluded from group. I'm working in a grassroots level in tribal areas. I have seen the children from that family, they don't have, when parents, they don't have access, they do not know how to use a mobile, and their children, they are having a mobile thanks to those notorious big companies. They are first, they give the free access to children. Okay, you can have a free internet service, everything. When they addicted to that, now they are charging too much. So this is the some kind of globalization. I'm telling you, I think I'm
Advocate
very harsh
Chadda,
on that.
Advocate
Yes.
Chadda,
Yes.
does this make a case for quality education on this topic in schools from a very early age?
Yes, of course. You see, when in a school topic, in a school education system, every state, they have their own education policies. If you are talking about CBSE and ICSE, it is controlled by the central government. Otherwise, every state, they have their own policies. And the states are very orthodox. They don't want to introduce any new kind of policies. They even don't want to introduce sex education in the school. They're so skeptical about that. Oh, how could we teach our student about the sex education? It is so, I am saying it is so impure. We should not talk about that. It is a taboo about that. So how could we say that it is an education policy we introduce these kind of things? Whatever programs we have, it is for the lower income group or higher income group children. Nobody is talking about the children who are in rural area. They don't have access. They don't have a TV line. They don't have even we have a schools, we don't have electricity, and we are talking about the online teaching and online online classroom studies for them. So it is policies are there. They are sometimes they are very open when we are talking to them, but it is very I am saying it is a very tedious process. They are very slow taker. We have to make them understand, because those bureaucratic approach is very difficult to introduce for those children who are in local schools, government school, primary schools. So it is very difficult task. But again, that education policy make sense a lot. If you have a good, healthy, and a very specific social media related how to control that, a healthy education policy, then it will give a good result. But if you don't have any kind of policies, you see online, due to this online classes, I am a member of so many internal complaint committees member, and we have received a number of sexual harassment cases to the teachers, their professors, young professors, pretty professors, when they are giving lectures, and their students who are law students, who are medical students, and because it is virtual classes, there is nobody can catch them, and they were sending such a vulgar messages through social media. I mean, in those classroom, when the teacher was asking any question in chat box, they were writing such a vulgar language messages. Teacher was totally become dumb. She was not able to even answer how to tackle this in front of whole public, in front of whole people. And the other students, notorious students, was sending her sexual related messages, though it is a case of sexual harassment. Later on, we conducted inquiry, we take the help of cyber cell, and we identify those students. But again, it is a very difficult task. So we don't have that 100% proof any system when the teachers or when the professors are preaching or giving lecture, then how to protect their dignity on social media. Other things to forget about that, because the movement girls are facing any trolling on social media. They are going to police station. Okay, there is a very stereotyping. Okay, file your complaint. We will see. We will have sometime. We will don't have a maximum number of police officers. Sometimes they are trained, but not up to that trained. What I'm saying, जैसे चोर जो है वो ज्यादा स्मार्ट है, जो बदमाशी करता है वो ज्यादा स्मार्ट है पुलिस से, एक कदम आगे है. So these kind of strategy was always there. So they are facing problem, whether you are in teaching line, whether you are in social work, whether you are in glamour media, whether you are in media. So there is no dignity in social media. There are people with lenses, but they are ready. I think they are just there. It is their pastime job. They don't feel bad about that. They don't repent for that. They are just sitting on social media. The once anything will come on screen, we have to troll. It is our, I think it become a national hobby.
So,
on
Advocate Chadda, you raised a lot of very important points. So one is that you're saying that this is very pervasive. Two is that people are not equipped to handle it. And three is
Yes.
that there needs to be more awareness. So I'll come back to you because you also brought
Thank
up about the digital divide, but I'm going to go to now Ms. Iman Kalyani, who is the Deputy Superintendent of Police with CAW and CW. That's the Crime Against Women and Children's Wing, CID-CB Bhubaneswar. She worked as IIC at Mahila Police Station, Bhubaneswar, and IIC Cantonment PS Cuttack. She was a student leader and president, Students Union of RD Women's College, a premier women's college in Odisha in 1995, and has won accolades as Best Para Jumper of India and Best NCC Cadet. So welcome, and continuing from the conversation with Advocate Chadda, what are the measures that need to be taken in order to be socially smart about cybercrime?
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you all. It's a pleasure to me that I'm a part of this discussion. But this is a small request from my side. It may be out of this discussion, ma'am. It's a good thing that we decide we do some discussion in this platform. But for me, for being a police officer, it is very, very important to touch the people, touch the children and women, or touch the victims in the root level or grass level. Because I always give preference that they must be known. They must be known. They should know that what are the laws are there, what are the systems are there. Until and unless any people knows their land, the laws of their land, they cannot. The crimes cannot be prevented. So my sole responsibility as a police officer is to prevent crimes against people, and especially women and children. So the question was for me that what are the measures to be taken in order to become social smart about cyber crimes. I don't think that it's a very little effort for me that I must the participants who are in the grass level, they must know. We all people who are educated and who are like you all, they already know that what are the platforms are there. But it is very, very important to trust the vulnerable people who are in the grass level. Still, we have, as per our agenda, that we are having lots of measures that we can deal to this curb this cyber crimes. Like you can use very strong password, put strong password for our social medias. We can secure our mobile devices, computer devices, etc. We can protect our data and computers and etc. What every people nowadays all are using internet and social media. They are using phones, like student to all the labor class people. But most of the people, they don't know, they do not know that how to prevent their mobile or their devices, to how to keep them safe. Then nowadays we are also finding that regularly we are coming across some new type of crimes, new forms of crimes. The modus operandi of the crimes are regularly changing. It's in a frequent manner. So we must teach the children or the vulnerable groups that not to share their passwords, OTPs, pins, and of the numbers of their debit card, credit cards, etc. We should not reply to any unknown email or any unknown SMS which is coming in our mobiles, and we should not share our personal informations, personal data in the social medias. We should not use the public Wi-Fi system in some fields like railway stations, bus stands. We should not use the public Wi-Fi because it is very vulnerable to hack the data. We should not download the unknown apps in our mobiles or computers. It may again lead to some crime. And then the Facebook and social medias are to be their profiles should be locked in locked manner. So, like all these measures we can take, and we can teach our children. We can go to the school level, we can go to the basti level, we can go to any working women's sector, children's or industries, and we can sensitize them how to use, how to be smart while handling their devices. So it's not in between this four chamber of the world. I think we must go to his to their places. We must. I don't think it is impossible. It may be it is impossible, ma'am. With the help of police, with the help of people like you all, with the help of all NGOs and every sector of people, we can reach to them and we can sensitize them. We can create awareness in them, and we can prevent. We can prevent to some extent. We cannot eradicate the crime in society, but we'll be able to prevent the crimes which are coming in regular forms, like child pornography. Ma'am said everything is there. We cannot change now, but what we can do now, that we can prevent the crimes, and especially against the children and women. And there are laws, there are lots of laws are there. Indian Penal Code is there, Information Technology Act is there, and regularly we are finding some alternate laws. Regularly we are making it, our infrastructure is developing, but it's not possible to prevent crime against women in a day.
Yeah.
But it
So
can be.
I have seen that in India we have the laws. The laws are there, but it's the implementation of the law, the awareness of the law that's an issue. In your estimation, as a police chief, how aware are people? And like on a scale of 1 to 10, how aware is the common person about these laws and their rights?
Right, ma'am. It's a very matter of sorry. And personally, I feel that most of the educated people in our country, in our state, they do not know our laws. So, what to do? How to educate them about what are the laws that creating, what are the laws that are there for our safeguards? Because most of the people, they do not know what are the laws. They are not either availing the laws, and the criminals are also not aware that these are the laws and these are the punishments are there for us. That's why the crimes are increasing. Is my personal opinion, ma'am.
And that's why, to prevent it, one of the biggest investments that is needed is in this quality education to help everyone understand the laws, and that law has also provision for punishment, which often the perpetrator is not aware of, right? So
Yes,
thank you
ma'am.
for
Yes.
sharing that, and I'll come back to you. But that was really insightful. So thank you. And this is a great segue to my dear friend, Advocate Napinai, who's a Supreme Court senior advocate and founder of Cyber Sathi. She focuses on litigation and policy work apart from her social responsibility engagements for training judges, police, armed forces, students, and industry on constitutional, criminal, IPR, and cyber laws. She is the advisor Maharashtra Cyber Police and senior panel advocate Central and Western Railways, Government of India. Napinai, you are a firm believer that we should use the legal system, right? But you and I have done lots of these workshops for young people. And in most cases, 95%, the teachers, the parents, the students are not aware of the redressal mechanisms. So before we jump into the question, I wanted to ask you for your take on, how can we make these laws more accessible to people to report? What is needed for it? And how does social media impact freedom, liberty, and rights of its users?
Thank you, Elsa, and you're absolutely right. Through the way you've structured the program, you've actually set the stage for what I wanted to share today. Everything that the speakers pointed out as pain points are the reason why Cyber Sathi was set up. The first thing is that we assume that people who are educated would be aware, and that is not the case. They are neither aware of the threats or vulnerabilities that abound in digital spaces, and nor are they aware of the laws or remedies. The second presumption that many make, and which is actually very misguided, is that they assume that people from the lower strata of society who may not have access to technology the way others would are therefore protected from the harms that come with technology. Again, this is not the case, because we tend to forget that they do have at least one smart device at home, which they are probably accessing, and that lends itself to the young children and even women getting exposed to harms, threats, and digital violence in many ways. Right. The third thing is, you asked this question about, and the speakers before me also have been addressing the issues about knowledge of the laws and remedies and our need for awareness on this with respect to victims or prospective victims. I would like to just turn that angle around to explain that we need this awareness amongst all, including the system itself. It's not like the system hasn't been trying. I've been part of training police and judiciary for 18, 19 years now nearly, right? With police, in fact, starting first. But the system works in such a way that you train a particular set of people who are working on fighting or combating cybercrime. And then by the time they have gained that expertise and they are applying it over a few years, they are transferred, because that's the way the system is structured. So today you're talking not just about training the smaller segment of those within the system who are working on cybercrime, but the larger spectrum of the entire system. The reason is because now digital has a footprint in every aspect of our life. So there is no part of judiciary which can say, oh, we can wait, there is no hurry for us to learn about cyber laws, nor can police afford to say that. So that aspect I feel is too important, because here is a situation, and I just would like to say it in story form. And this is something, I'm not just making up the story, I can tell you, this hypothetical situation is a mishmash of innumerable cases I've handled, and it can be deeply frustrating for victims, therefore, and it also reflects on why. You have statistics which says that there is a cybercrime committed every second, or even many more than one cybercrime per second, but you have statistics which are showing as if there are a few thousand cybercrimes. Most victims are so, they've lost their faith or trust in systems, and that's why I always keep advocating that victims have to come back to the system. Only when you approach the system for remedies can you expect the system to work. If you don't approach the system for remedies, there's no point complaining about the system. And the more number of victims who approach the system, automatically these problems will get resolved within the system also. So here is a quick hypothesis which I'll share. A victim, let's take off cyberbullying or cyber stalking, because these are the two kinds of crimes against soft targets, which even law enforcement has a really tough time dealing with. And we also see too many delays in terms of judicial processes. The victim is either of cyber stalking or cyberbullying. And the first question that they'll be asked, and they are still toying with the idea of whether they should approach the police for help. The first level of problem happens that it's not just that the victim may not know what are the remedies available in law. The person who is advising them may also not know what are the remedies in law. Unfortunately, I've heard very senior legal professionals say that there is no remedy for this colloquial term called revenge porn. Revenge porn, in short, is where people may be in a relationship and they do, everybody is adventurous today. So they may have taken some photographs or videos together when they are in their private moments. It's meant for both of them for their private consumption. But when the relationship breaks, one person in the relationship starts threatening the other and asking for either sexual favors or monetary favors on the basis of the imagery that's in their hand. And because there is no section which says revenge porn, here is somebody advising the victim saying that you don't have a remedy, right? And therefore, I'm saying within the system, everybody has to have awareness and better understanding of how the law works. And you don't need a law which says revenge porn. The actual act of threatening, blackmail, extortion, as we call it otherwise, has provisions in law, and you just have to utilize that. And that's where the first stumbling block comes to a victim, because they may not be getting the right advice. Let's assume they just go straight to the police station instead of going to a legal advisor or professional, right? Or even just a friend who may be misleading them or something like that. The police also may not know how to deal with it. The number of instances we have come across where they say, you know, you just, and the first thing, and that's why I'm really grateful for Imanji for touching upon it, that it's important to have sensitization amongst police to not blame the victim. The first step that the victim will face will be, who asked you to engage in this social media? Why don't you just get off the social media? Why are you feeding the troll? Are we really feeding trolls? It's in a way, to say you're feeding the troll is also blaming the victim only, because you're engaging with somebody, you're technically supposed to be inciting violence against yourself on physical or virtual platforms. The worst thing is where it comes to sexual harassment, the way Imanji pointed out, and also Namrata earlier, where there are sexual, you know, she talked about how teachers are being subjected to sexual bullying online. It's not like the teachers called it upon themselves. It's not like, you know, anything, the way they dressed or the way they looked or the way they conducted themselves in any manner encourages anybody to do something. But imagine the same situation where somebody is just wearing a casual dress or something like that. The immediate thing is, why did you do it? Who asked you to do this? Who asked you to post this photograph? And when we talk about morphed pictures or the revenge porn part, are you sure this picture is not yours? Even if it were that of the victim, nude imagery, if the victim has not consented for it to be shared online, it cannot be shared online. So to ask a question like that of a victim is totally unacceptable. And the second part of it in terms of revenge porn, who takes things like this? Who takes photographs like this? Oh, you're in a relationship and you're not married. Gandhi aurat hai tum. You know, and these are things I'm telling you, Elsa, these are not things I'm making up. Unfortunately, we have actually heard these things in real cases. So this process has to stop, and sensitization is not just about cyber crime that we are talking about. Sensitization is also about handling the victim. And that sensitization, I would really request that it is gender neutral, because to assume women suffer more and not men is not correct. And we have to understand the larger problems that the LGBTQ plus category also have, because they're already defensive and then they're being pushed further into a corner, and therefore it's important. And then the final leg, you finally make it to court, and then something that can be closed out in a few days, few months. I'll tell you why I'm saying few days. In Pune, a court decided to do it as an experiment, and this was a cyber stalking case. From the time of the complaint to the completion of the case, the case was completed in 48 hours. 48 hours, that's it. The complaint was filed, and then the police had investigated, because it's a short investigation, right? You know, it was a known perpetrator. You know where and how the stalking had happened. So they immediately finished it, put together the list of witnesses, submitted what we call the charge sheet colloquially, or the final report. And the next day, the case is taken up. And from charge sheet to closure, all of it is done within 48 hours. So if a test run could be done within 48 hours, let's assume 48 days, 48 months. Why are we taking 48 years? I mean, for cybercrime, we still haven't reached that figure, but there are 30 plus years of cases which are still going on in general laws. We don't want a situation like that. And because of this, you know, when I was doing my research for my book, the unfortunate thing that I noticed was 90% of cases which are of women-centric cases, you know, where they have been subjected to offenses like this, they just opt to compromise or settle the matters, withdraw the cases and walk away. This is not going to help jurisprudence grow, and definitely it is not going to help victims remain safer in the future. The reason why the system has to work and why I always keep advocating it is, when the system works, then law acts as a deterrence, because there is a sense of fear that one moment a criminal will pause before they stop, before they bully, before they do something worse, and say, oh, I can be caught, I can be prosecuted, I can be punished. And that's the message that I've been carrying forward with Cybersati. And I hope that if not because of the system, at least because of this awareness that you can be prosecuted and punished and jailed, hopefully the law will act as a deterrence. Over to you, Ilse.
Yeah, thanks, Napinai. And I want to ask Imanji, how do you build trust? Like we were talking about this, you know, the system that people don't trust the police, or they don't trust that their case will be heard very quickly. How can we build trust between community? Because the very first thing that you said was we should go back into the community. I'm also going to ask Advocate Namrata to switch on her video so we can pin all four of us, you know, for this round.
Ma'am, first of all, is the awareness. They must know that what are the laws are there, what are the system are there for their safety and security. And we already have some system like each and every police station are having Mahila and Sishu desk. If any complainants comes to us, our lady officers used to handle, though they may not reach to the expectation of the people in their approaches or in their attitude. But it has changed to something. What ma'am has also seen, or many of us also are seeing that they are changing gradually. The concept of the police concept is also changing, and the people's concept must change towards them. Then we are having integrated unit for dealing in the IHA2, that is IUCW. We have government has established integrated unit for to deal with crime against women, and integrated anti-human trafficking units are there in each and every district to deal such cases against children and women while trafficking and the victims of sexual offenses. That both the units are there. It is working. Besides that, Mahila police stations in some districts are there. It is functioning also. And nowadays, 14 numbers of police, cyber police station has established in different districts. And they are also, the officers, they are also undergone training, and they are the young people who are dealing with the technologies. They are also posted there, and they are dealing with the cyber crimes, which are coming. Besides that, we are having this our office. It is the new establishment, and now this is on. We have only established on 26th January of this month, and the Office of Crime Against Women and Children wing. It is a separate wing from the crime branch, and it's heading by additional DGP Ms. Rekha Lohani. And we are also the work of this unit is to monitor all the sexual offenses cases of the state, and we are monitoring it, we are supervising it, and we are guiding it for better conviction rates in order to get new messages that we can prevent crime against women. And besides that, now we are having a very integrated helpline like 112, which is dealing with police fire and ambulance. And it is also they are also providing many helpline numbers to the victims who are calling them or who are seeking their help. Then we are having the 1093 help desk for cyber crimes established at CIDCB crime branch Cuttack, and they are also doing excellent jobs in their field. They are helping the peoples. Then besides that, there is each and every police stations have been instructed to lodge any case at whenever it is reported, and the emphasis on the zero FIR, which is a very noble concept after the Nirbhaya case, ma'am. It has emerged as a very noble concept that any woman can file cases at anywhere. It is working now, and we are registering zero FIR at any place women can, or any cases regarding women and children, we can register anywhere at any police station, and later it is being transferred to the concerned jurisdiction. And besides that, we can approach to the superintendent of police at district level or DIC, or we can also put forth our grievances in our DGP office. Besides that, there is a Mo Sarkar unit which is functioning, and people can directly complain their cases at there. Besides that, ma'am, we are having the NHRC has instructed that we are having a very website, online website. People can file website their complaint online regarding any children and women related cases. That is www.cybercrime.gov.in. People can file cases online also. So in this way, we can build trust among the victims. But it is again, I will come to that point. All police are not like we are blaming police, but as you all know, that there is a lot of differences in people and mindset also. And nowadays they are changing. We must trust police first, that we are there for their safety, though somebody's behavior is not quite cordial, and it is not appealing. Still we are trying to change our images, because it is the mindset we are having from the beginning, that police does not work, or it works late. But we are having many problems which I do not want to discuss over here. We are having technological problem also, and we are that's a separate issue. But still we are trying our best, and we are also in each session we are imparting training to our lady officers, especially lady officers, to handle very politely to the victims. And nowadays the Mo Sarkar system, it is working completely successfully in each and every police station, so that people are getting justice also. I think. And finally, I expect cooperation from you all people, that please cooperate police to prevent the crime. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. And that's exactly what is the need of the hour, to build the trust in the system. And trust is a two-way street. It cannot be one way. So we have to work together to make sure that we prevent such crimes. Avinash Mohapatra in the chat section. I'm coming to you. Avinash Mohapatra in the chat section said, little girls who might face cyberbullying and stalking may not open up easily to their parents. What remedies do they have? Avinash, I want to tell you that it's not just little girls. We do a lot of work with youth, and in our studies, we've seen that in 92% of the cases, young people choose not to go to their parents to talk about any kind of bullying, not just girls, also boys, or any unpleasant incidents that they may have, because their parents, there's an intergenerational gap. You see, we didn't grow up with technology. For them, they have grown up with technology. Their lives are there on tech. So, you know, how they are living their lives is totally alien to us. And when young people come and share their problems, the adults don't often understand what's happening. So they go to a friend, which is what Napinai said. She started Cyber Sati, who's a friend, so that they get the right information to take that case forward. But what we've also found is that the friend doesn't have the knowledge, which is why we are doing these workshops, you know. So I just want to, yeah, Salil, yes, there are several committed police officers all over the country, and we've all met them in Maharashtra. I know many of them. We work with them in Goa, Delhi, Haryana, Hyderabad as well. My friend Rema Rajeshwari is an amazing police officer. But we have to build trust in the system because there's low trust, and we have to acknowledge that. But and that is also a driver of peace, right? How much people trust in your systems, in the existing system. So we can invest in that too. But I wanted to come back to Napinai. You know, we've seen in the last 2 years a lot of bullying and harassment happening on digital forms by juveniles. And Namrata madam also said that juveniles are engaging in this behavior, often not knowing that it's a crime, right? Which is why we need more education. But in your opinion, you know, like, one is the parents will say, oh, he's just a child, you know, and dismiss it. But those things can be extremely harmful. So can you share some of the remedies available? And then we go to Namrata to also share some of the best practices.
Remedies for?
So when such things happen, like a child is going through this issue, what advice would you give the parents of that child?
So as I understood your question, you're speaking about the child as the perpetrator of cyberbullying or cyber stalking.
Both, as a perpetrator as well as a victim.
Sure. So the reason I was behaving like a jack in the box when Imanji was speaking was to also clarify one more thing. You know, when we are talking about, and so I'm going to address that first before I come to your question, and I'll keep it short. I'm totally with Imanji, and I'm totally against people standardizing or generalizing issues. You know, if they have had one bad issue, that doesn't mean the entire system is at fault. If there is one black sheep in the system, that doesn't taint the rest of the system. So one of the things which I have been doing as part of Cyber Sati, and I would strongly advocate anybody who is working on awareness programs to do, is not just to educate the police in how they should conduct themselves, but also to educate the victims on how to conduct themselves or how not to conduct themselves in a police station. So I make sure that I spend at least a couple of minutes or more explaining this to them, that the victim does not have a right to be rude, does not have a right to yell or scream or behave badly in a police station merely because they are distraught, merely because they have the sense of frustration or fear. Often they misbehave because of fear or frustration, but it doesn't help anybody. So be it in terms of advising victims before they go to file a complaint or in awareness programs, one thing I've been very particular about is to ensure that the victim also does not go and misbehave in a police station. For their own sake, they should do it, because when the victim doesn't behave badly, chances of them getting success and getting the system moving is faster and better, right? If you build a rapport with the protector, the chances that the protector will chip in faster is higher. And this is something that I wanted to share, since a lot of us are working independently and collaboratively in terms of awareness programs. It's equally important for victims to be told also how to conduct themselves, and not just to keep preaching to the system on how. I mean, that's important, and I will always keep batting for that. The system needs to ensure that it evolves and changes and improves, but we also from this side of the table need to do it. And that's why I was kind of like behaving like a jack in the box. Very quickly, what are the remedies available? Understand that law is there. You know, merely because a special law may not apply in terms of cyberbullying or cyber stalking, you do not have to believe that you don't have general laws that are chipping in. The provisions are there. A victim is not expected to know the law. If they feel threatened, if they believe that there is a wrong that is being committed against them, please report, because you will see that increasingly there are instances of people losing their lives to instances of cyberbullying and cyber stalking. So you don't want it to reach that level. You don't want it to reach an aggravated form of physical assault also. So therefore, catch it early, file your complaints or take action immediately. You can do it at a first level with the platforms itself. And this, plus a lot of the things Imanji spoke about, including setting up of special divisions for women and children, offenses against women and children, etc., have evolved through one of the cases I am part of as an amicus before the Supreme Court. And amicus again means friend of the court. See, another Sati there, or equivalent to the cyber Sati. Anyway, so one of the things that we evolved from there, and that I feel was one of the biggest successes from that case, was this this aspect which became part of law through an order passed by the Supreme Court. And from February 2021, it is now a law that is part of our regulatory mechanism also. So the intermediary guidelines were formulated in 2021 and notified. Under that, a platform, any platform, has to have a grievance officer. So if you feel bullied, if you feel that somebody has put inappropriate content, you can write to the grievance officer and they have to respond within 15 days. If what you're complaining about pertains to nude or nude imagery, including morphed or other pictures, then they have to take down that content within 24 hours. So you have very strong remedies without having, because many victims don't want to immediately rush to police or court for their remedies. They just want to feel protected. And that was why we proposed this in a committee which was formulated under Prajwala. And in the Prajwala case, the order was also passed in October 2017. So this was a remedy technically that was available to victims even from then, but more so now under the law. So this aspect needs to, the awareness about this remedy needs to be spread far and wide. And of course, the next level is to approach police and then courts. So you have innumerable options. It's not for that of remedies that you're not getting protected. It's for the absence of not taking advantage of those remedies, not utilizing the remedies that are available to you to ensure that you put the system in place. So please use the system, even where it fails. That itself will be a stepping stone for improving the system and getting better outcomes from it.
Thanks, Napinai. Advocate Chadda. Sorry, you're on mute.
Yes. Continuation of Nepian's, I wanted to tell you one thing, that we are talking about system, how system will work and how the others will work on that. Is it audible? Is it audible?
Yes.
Okay. So the first thing is, victim is from the society. So what happened when anything happened to a boy or girl, stalking or bullying on online, or any married woman or unmarried? So what happened? The family pressure is too much. The system will come later. Police, then judicial system, because when cases in the police is very helpful. Okay, police is doing counseling, police is putting case, they are registering FIR, they are sending their case to courtroom. But you see the mindset of a judge. They are always but in the criminal cases, they see the tangible, what kind of injuries, tangible witnesses, tangible evidence. Because when we are talking about IPC, we are talking about the law of evidence. So in social media, sometimes victims are failed to show that tangible evidence or tangible hurts, because it hurts their soul, their emotion, their dignity, not body, but their mind and heart. So it is very difficult in court of law how badly they had been hurted in that. So that sometimes it is very difficult in court of law, in court of to get a justice. But when the crime happens, I mean, any bad thing happens in social media, the first enemies are not police department, not judicial, not this system. It is the society itself. It is the family itself. Because the parents, they will just, "Shh, don't discuss this other because it will give bad name to our family. Oh, my daughter is one so much in social media and that's why it happens to her. So please keep your mouth shut. Don't go to the police station." है ना, जब पानी सिर से गुजर जाता है ना, then they approach police station. Okay, now we have to go to the police station. Or sometime if they are approaching to police station, then their family, friends, they started misguiding them. Even in rural area, we have seen these kind of matters. But suppose a village boy on social media, I'm not talking about juveniles, sometimes they are below 18, sometimes above 18, they are recording the women are taking bath, or unka, they are bad photograph, vulgar photograph, and they are, I mean, they are showing it on net and everything. When the village committee came to know about that, just like a khap panchayat, they behave, okay, victim should come to the committee, and that the boy should they impose some kind of fine or something very, very low kind of punishment to them. Okay, you put this and give them warning, okay, don't do it again. And because in the rural areas, in semi-urban areas, these things happen rampantly. Women are saying, "Madam, we have a committee, we are approached to Sarpanch, we have approached to our Gram Mukhya, we have to approach our community." There are a different community in India, different caste people, and they have their president and secretary of different castes. We are from Teli community, we are from this Kayas community. So those people, they decide for themselves. Okay, what to do, what not to do. So it is a very, very difficult. So we always want to target those head of the communities, the Sarpanch elected member in a grassroots level, that don't do that. It is a crime. We have to make them understand it is our social responsibility. So it is not that if you are not giving case to police station, it is a crime. It is if you are stopping a victim, if you're stopping somebody, you are asking them, okay, not go to police station, don't register a case, we will settle this case. Even the rape cases, they are settling in a village committees. Okay, so that person will pay some fine of 5,000. If it is in social media, only 100 rupees we have seen they have settled a case. Then we inform police, we have inform our local police station that these things are happening. So there are no records, nothing. They just sit, they decide, and the perpetrator get away with the small fine or a rupees of fine. So in most of the area, in the rural area, that is untouched area, that is semi-urban areas or the slums area, people are from the different states or different districts. They are coming and settling in town. Most of the time it happens in Pune, in Bombay. So they are from, so they have their own setup. They trying to set, just like a court, kangaroo court, they want to settle everything there. So these things happen with the social media too. So because they do not know the senior member or I mean mid-age members or the people, they don't have an idea for the technology. They do not know the seriousness of how technology is damaging one lady's or one child's image. So they think, oh, it is a very easy thing. They post something on social media, so let it settle in our own community. So it is again a very, very difficult task from our side. We try to reach out to them. Okay, so we try to, okay, in their own language, okay, this is a crime, you should not do this. If the child will do, then the parents will liable for that. It is some sort of threat we are giving them, because डर से सब डरते हैं, है ना? So it is jail, police, and if it is a case, they are really scared of this. So these are the remedies. We are trying our best to reach out to those people, those group, they are very active. They are very smart, not highly educated. They are from the different groups. We try to catch their head. We try to catch their people and their neta and netri small, and we are asking them, okay, we are having a program with SNG group. We are saying what self-help groups, women or Anganwadi Didi, Asha Karmi Didi, and whenever we are having a training with them, we are having a half an hour or 40 minutes talk with them. Okay, these are the issue. Whenever you go to any village, any household for any survey or something, you spread this news to them. So I think it is our social responsibility, because blaming.
I
the
like
criminal
that.
justice
Yeah,
system.
I like that
Yeah.
you're saying that it's the social responsibility. And on that note, thank you so much,
Thank you. Welcome.
Napinai, Ms. Chadda, Ms. Iman. And now I'd like to invite the chief guest, Rotarian Shantanu Pani, the District Governor, Rotary International District 3262. He's a multiple Paul Harris Fellow and member of the Paul Harris Society of Rotary Foundation, and has been an outstanding president in Rotary year 2011-12 and outstanding assistant governor in Rotary year 2013-14. So, sir, you've heard the entire discussion, and there is a great need for investment in quality education at all levels, for children, for women, for teachers, for parents, for even the people who are part of the system, that is police and judiciary, etc. So what is the role of Rotary and Rotary clubs, especially in Odisha, to make sure that we have safe online spaces, have people who know the laws and take advantage of the laws, because India has strong laws, and bridge this digital divide? Because we also heard that many people don't have access to the internet, or don't have access to devices, or don't have access to digital literacy. So over to you, sir. If you're speaking, I think you're on mute. Soumya, can you see Rotarian Pani?
Yeah, sir, let me check with him.
He's there, but I think his audio for some reason is not connected.
Yeah, he's there.
So do you mind logging in again, because your audio is not connected for some reason?
Also, it seems like he's struggling with internet. So he's unable to hear anything.
Yeah, his audio is not showing that it's connected, only his video. So shall we proceed? Because I'm not sure. Unless somebody can call him and tell him to log off and log in
I
again.
just called him, so he said that he's struggling. He's unable to hear anything.
So maybe Elsa, we can just move ahead in the interest of time.
I think I just saw him. So can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Rotarian Pani, I can see him, and I think now his audio is connected. I've asked him to unmute. Can you click on that unmute button, sir?
Thank you, Elsa, and thank you. Good evening, all of you.
Yes. I think he managed to unmute himself. So, welcome. Sorry, you're having a bit of a problem. So my question is that you've heard all the panelists before. I hope you were able to hear them. What can Rotary do to help bridge this divide and make sure that, we have safe spaces for women and children?
Hello.
Hello. Yes,
Hello.
we can hear you.
Okay, very good. Very good. Thank you, Madam Elsa. Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah. Let me congratulate the Rotary Club of Bhubaneswar Smile for organizing this online safety program. For the topic is intervention to the safeguard of women and children. My suggestion is that I agree with, without addressing anybody, let me suggest something that I'm agreed with the Madam Iman Kalyani, who is the Deputy Superintendent of Police, Crimes Against Women. And I'm also agreed with the Advocate N.S. Napanai, Supreme Court of India, and the founder of the Cyber Sati. And I'm also agreed with the Salil Kadar, the United States Consul General Hyderabad. My suggestion is, why not? I'm audible? Hello?
Yes, sir. Absolutely clear.
Okay. My suggestion is, instead of, it's very good, like it is a welcoming step, and let me congratulate each and every speaker for their the way they presented the facts and the figures. We appreciate the things, and my suggestion is, why not to take these things to masses? Why not to have these 4 speakers, including the Mr. Salil Kadar of United States Consul Hyderabad? Why not to have one small booklet like Pocket Gita about the do's and not to do about the children and the women, so that we can circulate it to different forum. And I would like to request the president and the team of Rotary Club Bhubaneswar Smile to lead it, to coordinate it, to have a small booklet, and definitely the district will take care of printing it in hard copies, like mentioning the punishments laid down in the IPC and CRPC, and the what to do, what not to do, and many things, whatever you suggested, legal issues, this thing, that things, many things you have all spoken. These things combining together, you can put it in a booklet form or in article form, so that it can be circulated in different girls' high schools and in the different women's colleges, and even different women forums. I believe a soft copy or that soft copy can be printed in the hard copies. And if you ask the questions regarding our district, yes, maybe this is the initiative. This is the initiative that Rotary Club of Bhubaneswar Smile has taken to take it forward for the future in our districts. So that's all from my side.
Thank you, sir. That is very welcome, and I'm happy to help. So we will get in touch with Rotary Club Bhubaneswar Smile and take that forward. Thank you for your support. And thank you everyone for this interactive discussion. I'm going to hand it over to Soumya back again.
Thank you, Elsa. So, it was a wonderful discussion. So now may I request Avinash to extend a vote of thanks.
Thank you, Soumya. So first of all, I think it's an honor and a privilege to be in the company of this elite crowd that we have today, and it's been a fantastic discussion. For me personally, it has been a very enlightening session. If I go ahead and say that probably before this session, I could have had the excuse that probably I was not aware, and then I probably definitely was not aware of 2 sides of the spectrum. One is the different levels at which the cyber crime could happen, and at the other end of the spectrum, what are the different remedies that we have are in place. And then the question that I asked was more from a perspective is that of being a father to a 14-year-old girl, and I think I got an answer from Napni ma'am. Thank you so very much. To start off, I would definitely want to start with thanking the DG, Rotarian Santanu Pani, for kindly sharing his time to be a part of this discussion. I would also want to thank Elsa, the guest of honor for this evening, for moderating this in the session in a very, very structured manner, where we could move from looking at it from a standpoint of the issues to the possible remedies and what we can do as a person, probably with a next step ahead of us. And also like to thank the three panelists that we had. A lot of women power there. Iman ma'am, Namrata ma'am, and Nepne ma'am. A fantastic discussion. I just wish that the discussion could continue even further. And I would also want to thank all the participants who are there. The success of any program kind of runs through the participants who are there. All the PDGs, Rotarians, Rotractors, Interactors, who have all been there as a part of this program. It's been a pleasure to have you all here. And we definitely look forward to taking, I mean, this is probably the end of this 1.5 hour discussion that we had, but this is definitely a start, like the DG also mentioned. This is a start from a much larger program to kind of go ahead and spread it at a grassroots level. Last but not the least, I would take this opportunity to thank Salil from the US consulate to be a part of it. Salil, if you are next time in Orissa, please look us up, and we'll ensure that the pseudo word goes off from your pseudo Oria the description of yourself. Thank you. Thanks everyone. Thank you so very much.
Thanks a lot.
So Soumya, back to you.
Thank you, Avinash. So one more thing, are you going to take any more questions?
So does anyone have any questions? I'm not sure if our speakers are still around, but I wanted to acknowledge Dr. Salima for sharing, her comment, where she said that it's important to sensitize the patriarchal setup and also the awareness about the dangers of being vulnerable victims through cybercrime. And that's the need of the hour. And I think actually Namrata Chadda addressed that, so I didn't call it out. And then we had another comment by Sneha Visaria saying, don't teach girls to take a it is a saying, don't teach your girls to take a step back, teach the boys to respect women and girls. Irrespective of skilled or unskilled or homemaker or households, mindset needs to change and cyber laws must be implemented than just in books and papers. I agree, but I also feel that they go parallel. So we have to address so our program definitely has one component on gender sensitivity, because you cannot address violence without understanding the context in which it happens. And then the laws are really important. I would say we should have these, banners everywhere that 112 number should be in your face, so that we don't wait for a situation to occur before we figure out what's the number to call the police. We should always have it on speed dial and not be afraid to call them. But if you have any questions, maybe we can take a couple of them before we close. I know Napina